Welcome to another edition of Transform Your Life. Today I thought I would talk a little bit about being a people pleaser. This is something that comes up so often with clients that I work with, and many of us have struggled with this particular issue for a long time. I think it's especially common, unfortunately, with women, because women, ever since we are little girls, we're we're brought up, even in some religious capacities, teach that women put everybody else's needs first and that they're kind of last on the list. This has gotten so much better, fortunately, throughout the last decades or so, but still has a long way to go, especially in some other countries. So I want to talk about being a people pleaser, and this can be male or female, even though I think it's very prevalent with a lot of women. I always remind my clients that at first glance, the term people pleaser might seem like a kind of heroic, wonderful thing to be, because it might bring up images of being kind, being thoughtful. However, it comes with a big price. If you're always trying to please other people, it's an impossible task. You are literally that image of the guy who's trying to roll a very heavy boulder up a very steep hill. There's no ending. There's no resolve. You cannot, no one can please everyone, thankfully. And for us to take so much of our time and focus and energy in our life to trying to do that, it's a real tragedy. And it can make you waste so much of your time and energy trying to do this impossible task. And the thing that I think of it's even more sad is people who are people pleasers and grow up to keep identifying with this, they don't ever find out who they really are because they're spending all their energy trying to please others. And they can keep other people from knowing who they really are. So the term authenticity gets lost with the person themselves, but also in their relationships. This is why when I'm working with a client who's been a historical people pleaser and we're working on this issue, I always ask them, especially when you're in a group of people and you're trying to please everyone, and it's exhausting, they admit to that. I often ask them, do you ever feel lonely when you're in that group of people? And they always say yes. This is because no one really knows who that person really is. And like I said earlier, the sad part is many times the person themselves doesn't know who they really are. They haven't allowed themselves to find out because they've been putting the needs of everyone else first. So I'm going to read, I wrote an article on this, and I'm going to read what I wrote here so that I can make sure to get all this information in for you. I said, one of the primary dangers of being a people pleaser is the erosion of one's own sense of self. Constantly seeking validation and approval from others can lead to a loss of authenticity as individuals mold themselves into whatever they believe others want them to be. In the quest to please others, people pleasers may suppress their true thoughts, feelings, and desires, ultimately leading to a sense of emptiness and disillusionment. So think about that. If this is something you relate to, or perhaps you know someone who could benefit from listening to this information, I hope you think about it, because it's really a tragedy when we are wasting our life trying to please others, which is impossible, and not knowing who we are and not letting anyone else know who we truly are either. So learning to identify when you're trying to be a people pleaser, when those moments come up. And when I work with clients, it usually starts with an internal negative self-belief, subconscious beliefs of I'm not good enough, or I'm not lovable, I'm not important. Those can be some of the things that came very early on. And so they spend their entire time trying everything they can to please others, with the motivation of, if I do this, if I'm able to please that person or all these people, then I'll feel loved. It never happens, because that love has to come from the inside out, from that person. So working on this issue can be tough. And I encourage you to work with a qualified mental health professional who can really help you to work on this issue and heal this from the inside out, so your need to please other people starts to get diminished, and you start to learn how to be able to set your own boundaries and claim your own space and your own statements and desires, and not feel guilty about it, not feel like you're being selfish. I hope this is helpful for you to think about this. Fortunately, there are lots of, well, I can't say lots, but there are some decent books on this topic right now. I encourage you to explore those, but it can really be worth your while to work with a professional who can help you navigate these waters and help turn your life around, so that you, or the person that you know who's a people pleaser, gets to know themselves for the first time, and is able to share those wonderful attributes with others to have a much more fulfilling and authentic life. I'll see you next time. If you would like to contact me and talk about possibly working on this issue or any other issue that you feel is preventing you from living a fulfilling and joy-filled life, please feel free to get in touch with me. I'm very easy to find. I'm very accessible. My website is virginiaoman.com. Just make sure to spell my last name correctly. It's O-M-A-N. I'm all over Google, so you shouldn't have any difficulty finding me, but I'd be happy to talk with you. I always provide free consultation, and I'd love to hear from you.